Good morning. It is Sunday, August 17th, 2025. And this morning I get to go to Life Point Church and preach again, which I love to get to do. I have the privilege to get to do. And I'm preaching on the second part of a message that I started last week, and it's from Philippians chapter 2. And it's that famous passage where it talks about uh, Paul's direction to them to have the same mindset and to eliminate any sort of selfish ambition within the church, and that we are to radically love one another and look out for the interest of others and see others as more important than ourselves. And then it goes on to talk about the fact that Jesus emptied himself and humbled himself to the point of death on a cross, and that God is now going to, or in the future, is going to put everything under Jesus, that every knee and every tongue will confess that Jesus is Lord. And so I thought of two real specific things I wanted to share this morning. One is that in the midst of Scripture, there are lots of commands, lots of things that we're supposed to abstain from, and lots of things that we're supposed to do. But the backdrop of all of that is the fact that God has already done so much. And we never can see Scripture, and we never can see just our relationship to God as simply you do this and we do this and here are the consequences, and that's just too simplistic. We have to see things from the perspective of what God has already done. And in this case, Jesus has already laid down his life for us. And if he's laid down his life for us, how could we not lay down our lives for one another? And that the gospel is amazing. Uh, and the sooner that we start going down this path of like legalism, or seeing simply that there are consequences for sin or there's reward for doing good, and we only look at Scripture that way and our relationship to God that way, we're really missing the deeper part, and that is that God has already done so much. So that's one thing I kind of pull apart today. The other thing is that I need to be in awe of the gospel. When I simply think of the fact that the God of the universe, Jesus, the only Son of God, took on human flesh, took on flesh like mine, and he laid down all his rights and stooped so low for my benefit. How could I not look at my own life and evaluate where I'm not humbling myself? And I think about a couple areas, like, again, is there any areas that I'm just morally compromising? It says that Jesus was obedient to the point of death on a cross. Like, he went to the full extent of obedience. And if I'm called to be Christ-like and to imitate Christ, I need to look at my life and say, am I compromising in any way? The other thing is, am I leaning on my own understanding? Am I leaning on my limited understanding of this world? So anytime I face challenges, anytime I face suffering, I need to stop. And I'm not saying that, like, suffering we should just put a smile on our face and forget about it. Um, but we really need to take to account that Christ did it first. So when I face suffering, I need to stop and realize that Christ went through suffering too. He went through to the full extent of suffering. And I'm called to follow that same path that Christ did. And that is to submit my will to God and say, Lord, I need your help. I need to go through this suffering, and I don't love it, but I'm willing to do it. And Christ did it first, and I want to be like him. And if you look at 1 Corinthians 1, which is where I kind of read this morning, talks about the world will see the cross as total foolishness. It doesn't make any sense. Don't believe it. Skeptical of it. Where's the catch? It's just, again, Scripture is just a bunch of rules. And we should be thankful for the foolishness of God, that he laid down his life and he went in the opposite direction of the world and said, I will give up all my rights for the benefit of my creation, if they will just trust in me. So that's what I pull away from today, and that's what I will hopefully preach on today. So blessings to you. Have a great day.